This is your weekly report on corruption in the Philippine government. Authorities have arrested 2 people, including a police officer, and seized a 16.1 million peso shipment of smuggled cigarettes in an intelligence-driven operation here early Thursday. Colonel Fidel Fortaleza Jr., Zamboanga City Police Office Director, withheld the identities of the suspects pending further investigation. The policeman, who is the alleged owner of the smuggled cigarettes, is assigned in Sulu. His driver is a resident of Barangay Divisoria in this city. Fortaleza said police operatives intercepted a closed van and arrested the suspects during a checkpoint operation in Sitio Bactus, Barangay Taliban. At around 1:30 am confiscated from the van were 282 master cases of assorted cigarettes with a total estimated value of 16.1 million pesos. The arrested suspects are now under the custody of Zamboanga City Police Station 4. The confiscated cigarettes and the vehicle were turned over to the Bureau of Customs for proper disposition. Fortaleza said the successful law enforcement operation is the result of intensified intelligence work. 7 members of the Manila Police District Drug Enforcement Unit have been relieved following allegations of extortion and misconduct. Upon Manila City Mayor Isko Moreno Domagozo's order on Friday, MPD Chief Brigadier General Arnold Abad relieved 7 DEU officers and directed them to report to the Personnel Holding and Accounting Unit. Domagozo said he issued the directive to help restore public confidence in law enforcement as the case undergoes investigation. Those who commit wrongdoings have no place in the city of Manila, he said in a statement. If it's wrong, it's wrong. We will not tolerate those who are abusive, especially if they victimize ordinary people. The order came after one of 2 motorcycle delivery riders, identified in his affidavit as Chester, sought help from the National Police Commission, saying he and a companion were arbitrarily arrested by 7 MPD operatives in Sampaloc on the 9th of September. Chester said he and his friend were handcuffed and detained from 3 p.m. until nearly 1 a.m. the following day. He said he managed to escape but claimed that the officers took 9,000 pesos from his virtual wallet account and seized his companion's motorcycle. On the other hand, Napolcom Commissioner Vicente Calinazan expressed concern over discrepancies between the riders' sworn statements and the police report, as the victims claimed alleged extortion and illegal detention, while the MPD DEU report dated the 10th of September stated that the 2 men were arrested on drug-related charges. As a result of the complaint, 7 police officers, a police major, 2 master sergeants, 2 staff sergeants, a corporal and a patrolman, are facing multiple administrative charges including grave misconduct, grave irregularity in the performance of duty, and conduct unbecoming of a police officer. Personnel of the Philippine National Police's anti-kidnapping group have arrested 11 kidnapping suspects and rescued a 78-year-old Filipino-Chinese victim in an operation in Quezon City, Interior Secretary John Vic Remula said Friday. At a press briefing in Camp Crame, Remula said the victim, a businesswoman, was rescued while withdrawing a supposed ransom of 150 million pesos demanded by her abductors. On the 11th of September, after more than a week in captivity, she was abducted on her way to work along C3 Road in Quezon City on September 2nd, and detained at a safe house in Laurel, Batangas. After agreeing with the ransom demand, the family, without the suspect's knowledge, informed the police about it, prompting the latter to plan a rescue operation. On the day the victim was withdrawing the money, the bank operators, who already knew of the situation, contacted the police through a 911 call. After 2 minutes, police swooped in and arrested 3 suspects who accompanied the victim, 2 former Marines and a former Army personnel. During a follow-up operation on the same day, 8 more suspects were arrested, including 3 women. The kidnappers must have gotten impatient and decided to go straight to the bank. You could make a movie out of this, a comedy of errors. But safe to say, our PNP responded in less than 2 minutes after the bank manager called. The kidnappers were immediately caught and within the day, all their conspirators were caught, said Remula. The victim, he said, has undergone debriefing. No body injuries, but she should have psychological counseling. Insofar as her health, she seems to be in good health, he added. He said the suspects would face charges for kidnapping for ransom. The masterminds of the crime have yet to be determined. With a total of 11 suspects arrested, as of this briefing, we believe there are other conspirators in this case. There is still a hot pursuit going on. We cannot divulge the identity of the victim. We do have her information on the suspects. 2 of the suspects were honorably discharged, and 1 was dishonorably discharged, Ramila said. Department of Public Works and Highways Secretary Vince Dizon on Thursday led the filing of a graft complaint with the Office of the Ombudsman against 20 officials of the agency and 4 contractors over anomalous flood control projects. In a press briefing, Dizon said the respondents include St. Timothy Construction Corporation, represented by Sarah Discare, and former DPWH District Engineer Henry Alcantara, and former Bulacan 1st District Assistant Engineers Bryce Hernandez and JP Mendoza. Other respondents are DPWH officials John Michael Ramos, Ernesto Galang, Lorenzo Pagtalinan, Noberto Santos, Jamie Hernandez, Floralyn Simbulan, Juanito Mendoza, Roberto Roque, Holo Teao, Benedict Matarrón, Cristina May Pineda, Paul Jason Duya, Merglaus, Jaron Louth Lemuel Roque, RJ Domasig, John Carla Rivera, John Francisco, and John Does and Jean Does. Meanwhile, other contractors charged are SYMS Construction Trading, represented by Sally Santos, Warrior Builders, represented by Mark Allen Arevalo, and IM Construction Corporation, represented by Roberto Imperio. Dizon said a total of 25 individuals and 4 contractors were charged over 5 projects in Bulacan. By their concerted acts, the DPWH officials and the contractors did not merely commit administrative lapses, they orchestrated a deliberate scheme whereby false documents were made to stand in place of genuine performance, thereby triggering unlawful disbursements. The complaint read, they are thus liable as co-principals for graft, falsification, malversation, and related offences, and are subject to the same statutory penalties as their public counterparts. It added, the complaint is for malversation through falsification of public documents, violation of the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, and violation of the Government Procurement Act. I will repeat the instructions of our president. Everyone who must be held accountable should be held accountable, whether he knows them, they are his friends, or his allies. Everyone must be held accountable, Dizon said. This is just the beginning. There are still many others who need to be held accountable and must be held accountable in the coming days, the coming weeks, and the coming months, he lagged or added. Dizon said the government will also soon start the process of dismissing the personnel involved. In his complaint, Dizon also asked the Ombudsman to refer parallel forfeiture proceedings, if warranted, under Republic Act 1379 and to coordinate with the Anti-Money Laundering Council for possible violations of the Anti-Money Laundering Act. For their part, attorney Ernest Lavanza, Hernandez's legal counsel, expressed concern on why there is already a complaint. If as early as now there is already a complaint, it seems that we don't have the complete picture yet, so that is my concern. I haven't seen it, so I'll just reserve my comments once I see the complaint, he said. Asked why Sarah Discare's husband, Curly, was not among the respondents, Dizon said this was because Sarah was the one who testified in the Senate to being the beneficial owner of St. Timothy. But don't worry, as I said, there are still many more and this is just the beginning, so let us just wait for the upcoming cases, he said. GMA News Online has requested comment from the Discare camp regarding the graft complaint, but it has yet to respond as of posting time. According to Dizon, legal luminaries advised the DPWH to file cases that are the easiest and fastest to prove with the current evidence on hand. He said lawyers told him that this is an open and shut case, though he believes that the people have the right to be angry. Dizon called on the public to refrain from judging all personnel of the DPWH, saying there are honest and hard-working employees in the agency. It does not mean that just because someone is wearing a DPWH uniform, they are thieves or bad people. Many of them, in fact the majority, are good. It's pitiful for them. Let us not judge just because they are from DPWH, he said. He also called on the public to cooperate and share information with authorities. The government is investigating alleged ghost and substandard flood control projects following President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr.'s vow in his last State of the Nation address to ensure that those involved in anomalous contracts would be held accountable. Malacanang is set to announce the membership of the independent commission which will investigate alleged anomalies in the flood control projects. Both the House of Representatives and the Senate have launched their separate probes into the controversy. Sarah and Curly Discare previously expressed interest in becoming state witnesses. They have disclosed the names of several congressmen, their staff, and officials of the DPWH allegedly involved in corruption of the flood control projects. An active member of the Philippine Coast Guard was arrested for selling loose firearms in San Simon, Pampanga, the Philippine National Police Criminal Investigation and Detection Group reported on Sunday. The Pampanga Provincial Field Unit, together with the San Simon Municipal Police Station, conducted the buy-bust against loose firearms in Barangay San Isidro on the 10th of September, according to a news release. The suspect, identified as alias Ray, is assigned at a Coast Guard station in Manila. He was caught in the act of delivering and trading a 5.56 caliber rifle. Also seized during the operation was a 9mm pistol. The modus operandi of the suspect is trading alleged loose firearms through online platforms. CIDG Acting Chief Major General Robert Alexander Murico II said, the suspect was charged before the National Prosecution Service for violating Section 32, unlawful manufacture, importation, sale or disposition of firearms of Republic Act No. 105/91, Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act, in relation to Section 6 of Republic Act No. 101/75, Cybercrime Prevention Act, for trading loose firearms through online platform. In a separate statement, Coast Guard Commandant, Admiral Ronnie Gilgavin, condemned the illegal act, saying they have zero tolerance for such behavior within their ranks. I have directed the CGS Manila to fully cooperate with the ongoing criminal investigation, he said. Should the suspect be found guilty, he shall be dishonorably discharged from the Coast Guard service, Gavin said. An employee of the Department of Public Works and Highways was arrested on Friday, the 12th of September, by government anti-narcotics authorities during a buy-bust operation in Occidental Mindoro, the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency stated. Considered as a high-value target drug suspect, DPWH job order personnel alias Mike, 47, was collared where 3 sachets containing around 1 gram of shabu worth 6,800 pesos was confiscated in Barangay Payompan, Mamburo, Occidental Mindoro during the operation. The suspect faces charges for violations of Sections 5, Sale of Dangerous Drugs, and 11, Possession of Dangerous Drugs, Article 2 of Republic Act 9165 or the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, carries the maximum penalty of life imprisonment. A policeman was gunned down by a colleague at a checkpoint in Barangay Gadangay here on Saturday night, the 13th of September. The fatality was identified as Danny of Barangay Poblacion, Piat, Cagayan. Investigation said the suspect, Ali, of Solana, Cagayan, arrived at the checkpoint and aimed his Galil service firearm towards a police officer. Danny and a colleague, Manny of Barangay Cambabangan, this town, tried to pacify the suspect but were shot and wounded. They were taken to a hospital where Danny was declared dead on arrival. Manny was treated then referred to another hospital. Ali was arrested and under the custody of the Rizal police station. Follow-up investigation is ongoing. A government employee assigned to the Manila City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office was arrested after being caught stealing boxes of insecticide from a government storage facility, authorities said. The Special Manila Reaction Team apprehended the suspect for taking 20 boxes of resin insecticide from the Delpin evacuation building. Each box reportedly contained 240 bottles, with the total value of 2,184,000 pesos. During the operation, law enforcement also confiscated 12 bottles of resin insecticide worth approximately 150,000 pesos, along with 140,000 pesos in cash, believed to be proceeds from the sale of the stolen goods. The suspect is now facing charges of qualified theft under Article 310 of the Revised Penal Code. Meanwhile, another individual allegedly involved in purchasing the stolen insecticide was also charged with fencing in violation of Presidential Decree No. 1612. In a statement, the Manila city government expressed disappointment over the incident. It reminded all public servants to honor their oath of service and maintain public trust by avoiding illegal activities. The city government has reminded all employees to uphold their sworn duty to serve the public with integrity and to refrain from actions that could damage public trust. Investigation into the case is still ongoing. The Sandigan Bayan has affirmed conviction for graft and malversation through falsification of documents of former Quezon City Councilor Dante M. de Guzman and the hiring of ghost employees in 2009. De Guzman was found guilty of 16 counts of graft and 16 counts of malversation through falsification for releasing 361,500 pesos to pay several ghost employees for salaries, performance incentives, and Christmas bonuses from June 2009 to the 20th of June 10. He was sentenced to a prison term ranging from 6 to 8 years imprisonment for each count of graft, and from 6 to 10 years for each count of malversation through falsification. He was also disqualified perpetually from holding public office and his retirement and gratuity benefits were ordered forfeited. The former councillor was also ordered to indemnify the Quezon City government of 361,500 pesos as civil liability. De Guzman filed a motion for reconsideration as he reiterated that his guilt was not proven beyond reasonable doubt. In opposing the motion, the prosecution told the anti-graft court that De Guzman's arguments were mere rehash of defenses already litigated by the court. The court ruled, a perusal of the present motion shows that it raises no substantial argument or cogent reason that would warrant a reversal or modification of the assailed decision. In fact, the court finds that the motion contains merely a reiteration or rehash of arguments already considered and passed upon at length in the judgment of conviction. The 3-page resolution was written by Associate Justice Mariani Corpus, Manalag with the concurrence of Associate Justices Aldi V. Trespices and Jenner M. Gito. The Deputy Chief of Police of Santa Margarita Town, Samar Province was found dead in his quarters on Wednesday, the 11th of September. The body of Police Lieutenant Vitaliano Galban was discovered in a pool of blood when he was called for dinner by his colleague. His service firearm was on his chest and he sustained a bullet wound in the head. Police Colonel Arwin Tadeo, Samar Police Provincial Office Chief, in a statement said the incident remains under investigation. We have directed the Santa Margarita MPS and the Samar Police Provincial Forensic Unit to conduct a thorough and impartial inquiry to establish the circumstances of his death. He added that they have sought the assistance of the CIDG Western, Samar PFU and the NBI Samar Field Office to conduct independent investigations for a deeper probe of the case. The Samar PPO extends its heartfelt condolences and prayers to the bereaved family, colleagues, and loved ones of Galban during this period of mourning. Rest assured, the PNP will extend every necessary support to his family while ensuring a fair and transparent investigation, Tadeo said. A police officer was found dead early Thursday morning, the 11th of September, in Altavas Town, Aklan Province. They heard a shot and then he was found inside the police barracks, said Police Captain Aubrey Aon, spokesperson of the Aklan Police Provincial Office. Aon did not identify the victim as requested by his family and Dao Town of Capiz Province. The 28-year-old lawman with the rank of patrolman was assigned to the 4th Maneuver Platoon of the 1st Aklan Provincial Mobile Force Company. Police Captain Jova Ponghan, Altavas Police Chief, said the incident occurred around 4:15 am. The victim was found lying in his bed in a pool of blood. The Altavas Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office took the victim to the hospital where he was already declared dead. His 9mm service firearm was found nearby but police has yet to ascertain if the gun was issued to the victim or someone else. Aklan Police Chief Police Colonel Arnel Ramos proceeded to Altavas to personally supervise the investigation. We still don't know if it was an accidental shooting or if he took his own life. He was reportedly a jolly young police officer, Aon said. The Aklan police condoled with the family of the victim and assured assistance for him. A former policewoman was arrested and 45 grams of suspected shabu worth 306,000 pesos were recovered in a buy-bust operation in Barangay Poblacion 2, Sagay City, Negros Occidental on Wednesday, the 10th of September. Police Lieutenant Colonel Alvima Flores, Sagay Police Chief, said the 30-year-old suspect Tata was subjected to the operation after she was identified by previously arrested drug pushers as their source of illegal drugs. Tata, a former patrol woman, was nabbed after she sold a shabu to a police asset for 1,000 pesos. Recovered from her was the contraband, a .45 caliber pistol, a magazine, and 5 bullets. Flores said that the suspect has no documents proving if her firearm is licensed. The suspect was last assigned to the Police Regional Office -6, Western Visayas in Iloilo City and suspended in the 20th of January 21. She was dismissed in the 20th of October 23 after she being absent without official leave since May that year. The suspect faces drug and illegal possession of firearms and ammunition cases. 3 officials of the Bulacan 1st District Engineering Office of the Department of Public Works and Highways were dismissed from service and permanently banned from holding government posts over irregularities in flood control projects. DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon said the penalty also includes forfeiture of retirement benefits except accrued leave credits and cancellation of their civil service eligibility. The ruling covered former Assistant District Engineer Bryce Erickson D. Hernandez, Construction Section Chief JPD Mendoza, and Accountant Juanito C. Mendoza, who were earlier reassigned to the DPWH Regional Office No. 3. They were found guilty of disloyalty to the Republic and the Filipino people, grave misconduct, gross neglect of duty, and conduct prejudicial to the best interest of the service. Case records show that on the 20th of August, then DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonon issued a show cause order directing the officials to explain their involvement in the anomalies, which became the basis of the administrative case that led to their dismissal. This dismissal is a clear and unmistakable message. Public office is a public trust, and any betrayal of that trust will have lifelong consequences, Dazon said. The decision was rendered without prejudice to the filing of separate civil or criminal charges, which may subject the three officials to further court proceedings beyond administrative penalties. The ruling, issued under Administrative Case Number OSEC 05-2025 and pursuant to the 2025 Rules on Administrative Cases and the Civil Service, formalized their dismissal from government service. It was released under the Bagong Pilipinas governance agenda, underscoring the administration's pledge to safeguard public funds and restore integrity in government service. Acting Davao City Mayor Sebastian Duterte on Monday, the 15th of September, lodged criminal and administrative complaints before the Office of the Ombudsman against several government officials, accusing them of orchestrating the illegal arrest and transfer of former President Rodrigo Duterte to the International Criminal Court in March. In a 160-page affidavit complaint transmitted to the Office of the Deputy Ombudsman for Mindanao, Mayor Duterte named the respondents as Interior and Local Government Secretary Juan Victor Ramita, Defense Secretary Gilbert Teodoro, National Security Advisor Eduardo Eno, Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Ramita, former Philippine National Police Chief Rommel Francisco Mabel, former Criminal Investigation and Detection Group Director Police Major General Nicholas Tor III, several other officials from the justice and police sectors, and unnamed pilots and the owner of the Gulfstream G550 that took former President Duterte to The Hague. Respondents are facing charges for 8 counts of kidnapping under Article 267 of the Revised Penal Code, 8 counts of arbitrary detention under Article 124 of the Revised Penal Code, violation of Section 4 in relation to Section 12 of the Republic Act No. 9745 or qualified direct assault under Article 148 of the Revised Penal Code, expulsion under Article 127 of the Revised Penal Code. 2 counts of violation of Section 4 of the RA No. 7438, usurpation of judicial functions, Article 241 of the Revised Penal Code, breach of Section 3 of RA 3019, Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, and violation of Section 3(e) of RA 3019. The complaint stemmed from events that Mayor Duterte said unfolded shortly after his father, former President Duterte, partner Honilita Vansana, and daughter Veronica Duterte landed at Ninoy Aquino International Airport Terminal 3 from Hong Kong on the 11th of March. He said that the respondents illegally arrested the Duterte patriarch. According to the complainant, police allegedly approached the party without presenting a Philippine court-issued arrest warrant, instead showing a paper described as an International Criminal Police Organization document tied to ICC process. Something the complainant argued carries no legal force domestically. Arresting authorities allegedly brought former President Duterte and members of his entourage to Villamar Air Base in Pasay City, where they were held in a holding room under guard for hours, denied access to medical care and legal counsel, and later placed on a chartered flight to The Hague, Netherlands, without any court order or extradition proceedings. A screen capture embedded in the complaint showed a confrontation at the passenger bridge and another image pictured officials presenting a paper inside the aircraft. The affidavit alleged that authorities relied solely on an Interpol diffusion notice rather than a valid arrest warrant. It also claimed that Vice President Sara Duterte, identified as the former president's lawyer, was repeatedly refused entry at the Villamar gate to see him or obtain legal documents, and that former Executive Secretary Salvador Medialia was handcuffed and separately arrested. An image showed the scene inside the holding area during the standoff. Mayor Duterte said that his father, who has diabetes, was deprived of urgent medical treatment despite a medical certification warning of serious complications. The filing includes a photo of a physician examining him at Villamar and a doctor recording a blood glucose reading of 328 mg per deciliter before recommending urgent hospital admission. On the 12th of March, former President Duterte was aboard a private jet with tail number RPC 5129 that flew to Dubai, United Arab Emirates and then on to the Netherlands. The affidavit includes a cabin photo that showed the former president with officials on board and cited flight tracking records and ICC scheduling to assert he arrived in the Netherlands on the 12th of March and appeared, represented by Medialdia, in an ICC initial hearing on the 14th of March. The filing reproduced remarks attributed to Medialdia at the hearing that characterized the transfer as extrajudicial rendition and saying the ICC registry should explain the circumstances. Medutat argued that the ICC had no jurisdiction to act on the case, citing the Philippines' withdrawal from the Rome Statute in 2019. He accused the respondents of violating several laws, including provisions of the revised Penal Code, the Anti-Torture Act, and the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. The filing sought administrative sanctions for serious dishonesty, gross neglect of duty, grave misconduct, disloyalty to the Republic and the Filipino people, oppression, grave abuse of authority, and conduct prejudicial to the best interest of the service. The complaint argued the Ombudsman has jurisdiction over both the criminal and administrative aspects under Republic Act No. 6770, the Ombudsman Law, and cites jurisprudence on the office's full administrative disciplinary authority. The filing framed the case as one fit for the Ombudsman's constitutional role as protector of the people. It urged the Ombudsman to hold the officials accountable for the pre-planned illegal arrest, detention, and expulsion that disregarded Philippine sovereignty and constitutional guarantees. Medutat formally prayed for the respondents' preventive suspension, arguing evidence of guilt is strong and their continued tenure could jeopardize witnesses and evidence. He separately filed a petition for a writ of habeas corpus before the Supreme Court concerning his father's alleged detention and expulsion. The Ombudsman docket numbers in the transmittal are blank as of posting time, as it has yet to rule on the complaint's sufficiency or order any action. If the Ombudsman finds sufficient basis, it may initiate or conduct a preliminary investigation and, on the administrative side, impose preventive suspension during proceedings, remedies the complainant expressly seeks in this case. A village chairwoman escaped death in a daylight ambush by 6 gunmen on separate motorcycles on a busy street here on Tuesday morning, police said. Police Colonel Jibin Bongkao, City Police Director, said Barangay Poblacion 9 Chief Pahimirayunan Pasoiran Pusaka was slightly injured, but her husband, Mike, died before reaching the hospital following the 10 a.m. attack on Jose Lim Senior Street. The village official was on board a white Toyota Fortuner driven by her husband when waylaid by gunmen on board motorcycles. Bongkao said in a report. A tricycle driver was also killed by stray bullets, he added. Police investigators recovered about 50 empty shells for various calibers of firearms. Investigation is still ongoing as of posting. 19 more members of the Manila Police District Drug Enforcement Unit were relieved over allegations of extortion and misconduct, an official said on Monday. MPD Public Information Chief and spokesperson Major Philippine said the officers were ordered to report to the MPD's Administrative Holding Unit as an internal investigation got underway. Their administrative case is rolling and we are giving both parties a chance for due process, he said during a press briefing at Camp Crame in Quezon City. Authorities said investigations by the National Police Commission and the MPD Internal Affairs continue, following renewed public concern over alleged abuses by police officers. Inez also clarified that the 2 male riders who filed complaints of illegal arrest and extortion before the Napolcom were, in fact, nabbed during an anti-drug operation by the MPD-DEU. They were arrested for allegedly delivering and possessing illegal drugs in Sampaloc on the 9th of September. This complainant himself was captured with 120 grams of shabu and 4 sachets of marijuana kush. By chance, he escaped, Inez said. Chester, one of the suspects, managed to escape and later lodge a complaint before Napolcom, accusing several DDEU officers of illegally detaining them and extorting money. His complaint led to the relief of 7 MPD-DEU officers. Napolcom Commissioner Vicente Calinazan noted the discrepancies between the riders' sworn statements and the police report, as the victims claimed alleged extortion and illegal detention, while the MPD-DEU report dated the 10th of September stated the 2 were arrested on drug-related charges. The officers are facing multiple administrative charges, including grave misconduct, grave irregularity in the performance of duty and conduct unbecoming of police officers. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency separately arrested 3 individuals, including a Misamis Oriental municipal councillor, on Monday over alleged possession of illegal drugs, serving 3 search warrants on 3 locations. PDEA identified one of the suspects as Shalako Yuba, 49, one of the municipal councillors of Magsaysay Town, During a raid in Barangay Candias, Uber denied involvement in any illegal drug trade. The two others arrested in other locations in Magsaysay were a son of a barangay chairman who was arrested in Barangay Kibungsad, and another suspect in Barangay Atadi. The suspect in Barangay Kibungsad was also considered a regional target by both PDEA and the Police Regional Office 10, Northern Mindanao, who operates in nearby regions and provinces. PDEA Misamis Oriental agents seized an estimated 100 grams of shabu after searching for the suspects' respective residences. Expedito Cardona, PDEA Misamis Oriental's lead agent in the operations, said they are almost reaching the target of making Misamis Oriental clear of drugs with these arrests. Magsaysay is the last municipality, and this is to prove that we can go to the farthest borders to clear communities of illegal drugs, he said. Meanwhile, PRO10's teams also arrested 20 suspects and seized illegal drugs worth 1.4 million pesos from the 13th of September to 14th. A total of 19 operations were conducted during the period as part of PRO10's intensified campaign against illegal drugs, confiscating approximately 207.345 grams of shabu. The Department of Transportation on Tuesday filed cases of use of falsified documents against two former engineers of the Department of Public Works and Highways for the use of fake driver's licenses to enter a casino. The action is in line with President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s directive to ensure accountability for people using fake licenses. DOTR Acting Secretary Giovanni Lopez filed the cases at the Paranaque Prosecutor's Office against former DPWH Bulacan District Engineer Henry Alcantara and former Assistant District Engineer Bryce Hernandez, both members of the group dubbed Bulacan Group of Contractors Boys. He was accompanied by Land Transportation Office Assistant Secretary Vigor Mendoza II. We will not allow any official or private individual to violate the licenses of the DOTR and LTO. They will be held accountable under the law, Lopez said. If found guilty, the two former DPWH officials face imprisonment of up to 6 years and a fine of 1 million pesos. In addition, the LTO has perpetually cancelled the driver's licenses of both Alcantara and Hernandez for using fake licenses. Similar cases are being prepared against other members of the BGC Boys, such as RJ Domasig and JP Mendoza. He warned other individuals against using fake licenses or face similar action from the government. This is a reminder to the public that you are not allowed to use a fake license. That is a crime. We wish they won't do that because we will catch them, he said. Police in Datuodan Singsuat, Maguindanao del Norte, have launched a manhunt for two men believed to be behind the killing of an engineer from the Bangsamoro Region Social Services Office on Tuesday night. Engineer Romeo Ryan Livello, an employee of the Ministry of Social Services and Development in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, was killed on the spot, according to the Bangsamoro Police. Lieutenant Colonel Joppy Ventura, spokesperson for the Police Regional Office Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, said the victim was driving his motorcycle on his way home to UP, Maguindanao del Norte, when he was ambushed along the highway in Sitio Tenorio, Barangay Awang, Datuodan Singsuat. At around 6:30 p.m. he sustained fatal gunshot wounds in the head and body, a police report from Datuodan Singsuat said. The motive and identities of the attackers remain unknown, but police are pursuing several persons of interest. Livello's co-workers condemned the attack and called on police to bring the perpetrators to justice. A policeman was arrested for allegedly mauling his wife in Sambone Town, southern Cebu province on Tuesday, the 16th of September. The Cebu Provincial Police Office said the action of the 47-year-old suspect with the rank of Master Sergeant will not be condoned. The policeman is assigned to the Sambone police station. The 44-year-old victim alleged that her husband made her a punching bag. She also accused her husband of slamming her into a concrete wall. He was arrested after she called police for help. Police Lieutenant Michael John Baines, information officer of CPPO, said the policeman will be charged for violating Republic Act No. 9262, the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004. The suspect will undergo an administrative investigation and may be dismissed from service if proven guilty, said Baines. Any violation of these principles, more so by those in uniform, will not be tolerated. Rest assured that CPPO remains committed to our mandate of safeguarding every individual and ensuring that offenders regardless of rank or position are held accountable for their actions, said Baines. That's all for this week. I'll see you next Friday with more stories of corruption and foolishness within the Philippine government.